All right. All right. Welcome to this week at draft. We are going to we're doing this. Sorry, my little my little thing. I'm trying to use this document where I've got everything written out, and uh, usually I've been trying to be fairly seamless and going from just looking into the camera and to pulling up the document. But oops, I did not do that. I definitely did not do that right this week. But anyway, right. Welcome to this week of draft. We're doing this, and by this I mean these episodes, this sort of blog series. We're doing this because we are committed to transparency, and I really wanted to create a space where I can build the company in public. It just makes sense to do it in this format because this is easy for me to turn around. So with a vlog podcast of sorts, it's easy to consume and it's easy to execute. Draft, to be quick on this part, Draft is an advertising execution company with a proprietary tech stack that allows for the planning and execution of paid media across a variety of verticals. We often work behind the scenes of other media companies, agencies, and fractional CMOs. Our company is built from 7 different divisions: Draft Outdoor, which is the largest network of outdoor advertising; Draft Broadcast, which is a traditional media buying service; Draft Digital, for all things new media; Draft Ad Tech, where we're building the future of advertising; Draft Creative, offering full service creative solutions; and Draft Direct, focusing on direct mail; and of course, last but not least, Draft Promotions, where we're focusing on branded physical products. Last week, I didn't record an episode because I was flying back to the office on Monday morning. I need to try to do these maybe ahead of time. Very little pre-planning goes into recording these things, so just something I'm doing on Monday mornings. It started because I was doing it internally anyway. I was trying to do weekly updates and things for our staff internally, and I was like, well, we'll do this. We'll do the, we'll do a sort of public version of that same information. But I need to try to do these ahead of time so that we don't have gaps like last week, but we did. This week, we're focusing internally on landing. We have quite a few larger partnerships in the works that I would say is probably the biggest focus, at least for our leadership team at this time for this week. On a personal note, I always have a word of caution. As a matter of fact, this will be our main topic for today when it comes to larger opportunities. One of the phrases on repeat here at Draft is that while everyone matters, we care about everybody, no one matters. In other words, big opportunities come and go. No one deal matters, even though everyone matters. In other words, you should care about everybody, but don't, nothing should, you should never impact the core business or the core operations of a business in order to try to land some big fish. And so we'll talk about that more later. As you may remember from our episode on 40X, our wildly important goal, which is a 40X thing, is for this quarter is 10% revenue growth over last quarter. I'm happy to say we're pacing right at that target. Our main obstacle right now, as it has been for a while, is time management, project management. In other words, just getting everything turned around per our value equation, which was something we talked about, I don't know, last week before, who knows? Well, it would have been last week. Whatever, we talked about it before, but that is our main issue, because we are a small team. And things are going well. We're scaling well, so time management and project management is going to be our issue for a while. In our last episode, I spent some time with one of our core, not in the last episode, last week, in actual, not episode world, but in actual real life. Last week, I spent some time with one of our core suppliers. The main thing I learned from that, or the main lesson I would say I learned from that last week, is just how many resources we have at our disposal, just how underutilized a lot of those resources are. Something I do recommend taking stock of fairly regularly if you are a company that has suppliers and things and other resources that you're using and pulling from, just periodically take time to spend a little bit of time on the product side of your business and make sure that you are truly getting every drop of juice from that fruit before you move on to the next one. As I've already mentioned, for the goal section, our wildly important goal, or WIG, from the 40X format is 10% revenue growth this quarter or last quarter. The biggest thing we are working on in terms of projects is building out our promotional products division. We're starting from the ground up there, so that's exciting. But that is definitely the area where we have the biggest gaping hole in terms of processes and those things. For the main content of today's episode, I want to talk through why I believe a fairly stoic philosophy is so important when it comes to business. There are all these great stories of businesses and individuals. There's movies about it, about these people that are chasing these large deals, right? That there's these dreamers that are just doing whatever they need to do to make this happen, to make some big deal happen, or to make some big supply happen, or something like that. And when those deal comes through, it's a big win, and it sets the company up for success, and all that. And those stories are great. Those stories are inspirational, and more power to anyone that wants to engage in what I call whale hunting. I certainly didn't come up with that, but in the sales world is known as whale hunting, which is going after those whale customers. Whale hunting is great. I just personally don't think that, from at least a CEO standpoint, I don't think that's a good idea for a mature business to get too caught up in only landing whales. Just practically speaking, if your business has one major customer, then when that customer goes away, which happens sometimes, sometimes there's product or execution issues and that customer goes away, and that would be more on the spectrum end of your fault, to things that totally aren't your fault, like them getting bought or merged with another company. Sometimes you have control over things and sometimes you don't. And so when that customer goes away, you're out of business. And so there's a lot of danger there. There are other reasons too why I don't think that any one project or customer should significantly change the business's operation. Philosophically, I believe that a business is an organization of individuals that have come together to solve a problem. I mean, that's what a business is. You've got a problem, and then so you have an organization. You've got multiple people coming together to solve that problem. For us, that problem is getting a specific message to a specific audience and then tracking the results. So specific message to a specific audience and then tracking results. Everything we do, everything we build is centered around that core operation. So when I mention those multiple divisions and those things, it's all about that one thing. We send a specific message to a specific audience, and then we track what happens. We already have, just like any business, I think, would say they have, or should say they have, we already have what we feel is the best process in order to execute that function. Best process meaning as best as it is right now. We're all, of course, always looking for feedback and to improve and update it as relevant, but you never want to change that function, that core operation, just to chase some revenue or some particular customer. That is not a good idea. Now, if your core function nobody cares about, or you're not able to sell it to anybody, then maybe that's a sign you're solving a problem that no one has. But as long as you have sort of vetted the idea that no, you're solving a very real problem in the world, just don't compromise that. Focus in on the problem you solve and let everything else go away. So it's my advice to you, is to focus on solving that core problem, make that your business's operation, and don't compromise it. And I got prompted with the still on the call thing, so I had to go over there to click on that. If you have any thoughts, feedbacks, suggestions, you can email us at info@draftmediapartners.com. And to summarize, today, we discussed the importance of maintaining our core operations, our major accomplishments and challenges that we have here at Draft, and our goals for the near future. Um, we also touched on why a Stoic approach to business can be beneficial. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. See you next week on This Week at Draft.